Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does watch, like, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. It's time to talk about it, all right? This Jets draft class, I'm ready to get into it with you folks. I'm going to cover from round 2 down, just throughout our picks. Some of these players I'm going to talk about a little bit more than others. I'm not going to cover the undrafted signings that we may make because it's a lot of them and they could come fast, and so you know there'll be other videos for stuff like that. But this again is just our rounds and some of the moves we made. So I want you folks to comment down below right now. Let me know how you folks feel about this class and about this draft. Do you think Joe Douglas did what he needed to do here? Do you think enough holes were filled? So I want to get you folks' thoughts on that before I start. But so I'm going to start round 2. I'm going to start with our selection in round 2, Mims. Listen, I like this kid. I did not think he was going to be there. We selected. We actually traded down and actually picked up a third-round pick from the Seahawks. And we traded down and was still able to get him. Now, I will say initially, when Joe traded down out of that spot, I was like, because Mims was one of the guys I was hoping that we would target. So when he traded down, I was like, does he just not want him? Do we not see that we have, a need at wide receiver? Is it someone else that they're targeting at this point? What's going on here? I kept the faith. I figured he had maybe another wide receiver in mind that he was targeting, and maybe he was just kind of backing away from Mims. But as the board played out, Mims was still there, when we were at our selection. And he took him. And I couldn't be happier because, one, this really shows kind of a change of guard here between our general managers. If you look at, if Mike Maccagnan was in that situation last year and he would have traded down, we got fleeced. We got completely fleeced. He probably would have traded down for like a 6th-round pick and a bag of chips, and that would have been it. And Joe Douglas got some really solid value when he traded down, and he still got his guy. You know what I'm saying? It was a very, it took a lot of stones to make that move. He rolled the dice and he stepped up and said, hey, I'm ready for whatever happens. And he was still able to get Mims, as I said. So Mims comes in, he's a 6'3" wide receiver, big catch radius. This guy is a fast kid as well. I like him. I think he ran like a 4.38 or something like that at the combine. This guy can move, you know what I'm saying? The knock on him, I know somebody says the drops, he's had, quite a bit of drops, but listen, we have wide receiver coaches here that are going to be able to get him up to speed and get him going. So the next level of coaching, I think, is really going to, help this kid along. He's also, again, going to grow within his route running as well. But again, I think a lot of fans that have those knocks on those players, you also got to keep in mind that, these kids come in and they're not as polished as, you would think. Everyone has something they have to come in and work on. But this kid is a playmaker. He made a lot of plays, in college. He absolutely did his thing. So I really, really like the selection. I like where we got him. He was a steal of a pick as far as I'm concerned, because I remember pre-draft, people were saying that he was probably going to go bottom of the first, or easily early second. Like he would never be there where he was at. And we were still able to get this kid. So he joins a wide receiver core where I look at it and I say, okay, Mims is here. We got, Bernard Perrion. We got, Quincy Enunwa, who's still a question mark. I know people are kind of, hingering on him. But the thing is that Quincy Enunwa, spinal stenosis, serious deal. I don't know if we can depend on him. And even if he does play, dude, he's missed so much time every season due to injury. It's like, can you really count on him to be there? Crowder, I think, is a solid, slot receiver, we all know. Then you got Dotson, you got Vincent Smith, and you got Berrios. Again, I love the selection of Mims. I just wanted more wide receivers in this draft. And I know everybody knows if you're a Jets fan, you watch it, but I know we're going to cover the rest of this draft, but I just wanted more wide receivers. I did. I wanted more added. That's why, to be honest with you, when I saw CeeDee Lamb slide to 17, I was hoping for a move to be made, baby. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping for a move to be made. That's all I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you what, CD went to them boys. He's wearing that star right now. But, man, woo! I was hoping for a move to be made. But, anyway, with Mims in this, wide receiver depth here, I like it. I like the move. Again, this gives Sam, it's really giving him a solid weapon. But I just wish we added more pieces there at wideout because I think we need more. I'm not, Rashad Perriman, I think he's a guy that can come in and do some things, but I don't know really what to expect out of him. Dotson, another guy, is a first round bust. I like Crowder, but outside of that, it's like, who's the guy that's really going to be able to step in and really have some impact. So comment down below, let me know what you folks think about Mims and his selection. So I'll move on to round 3. Again, we made a trade with the Seahawks. We were able to pick up a 3rd round, so we got some picks coming up here in round 3. So round 3, woohoo, they select safety Ashton Davis. I know some of y'all was not necessarily happy with this. There were some fans that were upset. And there were some fans that were going, what does this mean? You know what I'm saying? I look at this kid, Ashton Davis. He plays everywhere, dude. I mean, he does everything. He could be a dime safety, a strong safety, free safety. People were talking about him possibly playing corner this year. I mean, this kid is solid. You know what I'm saying? And I think that this was a good pick as well. We can come in and run a lot of 3 safety sets, especially with him. He is a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all. I know a lot of people are looking at the situation and going, hey, does this mean we're going to... Is Adams definitely going to get traded? I don't know. Maybe he's an insurance policy for the safety position, period. I know there's also people that are looking at it as well. Marcus May may be a guy that they're saying, hey, we like you, but can we really invest? If they decide to give Adams the type of deal that he's asking for, can we really invest that much money, in the safety position with you as well? Because we know we're going to have to pay you too, and you're coming up on the last year of your deal. So this may be an insurance policy just on a safety position, period. Just in case, things get rattled. Maybe May moves on. They give Adams that huge deal he's looking for. Okay, this is a kid that can kind of roll into that cover safety role, and we won't be, falling off of a cliff after, our best cover safety's out of here. So, yeah, I like the selection. I think he's a kid that really can bring it. I'm really looking forward to seeing him on the field doing the thing defensively for us. So, moving on down, this 3rd round, we signed Jabari Zungia. Man, let me tell you something. This is a kid that's interesting as well. I like him. I think he's a guy that can come and give us a little bit of edge pressure. The problem with him, though, is the injuries. I know he battled a lot of injuries in 2017. He played through some of them, but it affected him. You know what I'm saying? So if he can come here and stay on the up and up, and we can, make sure that he's good physically, and he's not, battling those nagging injuries, he's a kid that I could see making some impact. And again, he's joining, a much needed spot on this roster because we don't have a pass rusher. We really don't. I know a lot of people are great that are raving about Jordan Jenkins coming back, but I mean, when you look at it, Jordan Jenkins is probably the closest we have to an actual pass rusher. I know Harry Anderson was a guy that we were hoping would really step up, and we really haven't seen that type of production from him as well. Hell, people were screaming about Jamal Adams. Might be our best pass rusher at some point. I know he was up there in sacks, but he's a safety. He's not an actual pass rusher. So this kid may be able to come in and really give us some production here, and I'm all for it. But if he stays healthy, I think he can really have an impact. And he's also a guy that's a high character guy. He's got a great attitude. I know some people were comparing him to draft picks of the past. I'm not going to go into that. But this kid, from everything that, all reports, everything from the coaching staff of the school he went to, dude, he's on the up and up. And so I'm excited to see him. And again, we just got to worry about the injury factor with him. So hopefully he can keep it all together. We made another trade, and we were able to pick up 2 4th-rounders. We actually made a trade with the Patriots. This is crazy. Joe Douglas is wheeling and dealing. He treats any team like they're just any team. It doesn't matter. In division, out of division, whatever. If you can help me, then, hey, let's make a deal. And if you can't, I'll see you around. You know what I'm saying? So he was able to make a trade with the Patriots. He got 2 4th-rounders back. So my next pick that I want to talk about, we pick him up in round 4, Mr. Perine. Listen, man, I like this kid. I remember, I watched him, once or twice before, and I was like, man, this back is a guy that can really, make some plays. He can move. I love this selection, and I do because, look, I know we rave about Le'Veon Bell. We do. But outside of him, we have no running back depth. Ty Montgomery, Bilal Powell, not here. We need someone to come in and spell when Le'Veon Bell, is taking that breather. He can't play every single down. He can't. So we're going to need somebody, excuse me, that's going to be able to come in and really do what they need to do. And I think he's a kid that can do that. He can catch the football out the backfield. He's got decent hands. He's also a guy that I think is a solid runner. I know that there was a big knock on him that he ran kind of slow at the combine. I think they said he ran like a 4.6. But if you watch the tape on this kid, if you watch him run, like the games that I've watched him, dude, he pulls away from people. I think he's much faster in pads, and I think we've also seen that as well in the past, where athletes will come in to the combine, they won't run as fast as some people think that they should run, and then all of a sudden, ooh, they're slow. It's like you forget all the years of tape that you have on these dudes pulling away, in pads and a helmet from the rest of these guys that are trying to chase them. And if you look, I'm telling you, there's some clips on this kid where he is moving. I mean, I've watched him. I have absolutely watched him. So I like him. I like the move. I think he can come in and really help us out as well. And we also know that seems like, Adam Gase isn't necessarily that fond of Le'Veon Bell. There are definitely times throughout the season where he did not use him, or, pretty much most of the season he didn't use him effectively. So maybe Perine is a guy that can come in and step in, and he's like a Gase back. Maybe this is the kind of back that Adam Gase wants in his system. So, again, I like him. I like his ability to make catches. And I like his movement. He's a really shifty back, man. And like I said, I don't think he's as slow as others, are trying to make him out to seem. So, moving along again, we talk about the next 4th round pick, Morgan. Now this, with all due respect, I love Joe Douglas. Loved him, love what he's done so far in the draft. But this was kind of a head scratcher for me. Because I said, okay, if you looked at all the needs on this football team, I'm talking about we had a lot of drastic needs. We needed wide receiver help. We needed offensive line help. You look at the defensive side of the ball. You looking, hey, we need corner help. We need pass rushers. We need. There's a lot of needs here. And to me, backup quarterback, although, I could see it being a need, absolutely. But in the 4th round, when you look at all the needs that you have, especially at corner in the 4th round, so that was my question. I do like this kid, though. He's has some issues. I know people have spoken about his accuracy issues and stuff like that. But, I think he's a guy that can come in and, be a quality backup at this point. And I understand from Joe Douglas' standpoint, that backup QBs can, be very effective. They can come in and win you a game and keep you from losing a game. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I understand that. And I understand that Joe Douglas comes from the Eagles. They won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, so I understand that backup quarterbacks mean something. I get that around the league. I understand that. But I just was wondering, in the 4th, with, again, wide receiver for me being a big need going into the draft, it's like, can we take another wide receiver? There were some guys there that I was like, I really want to get these guys in there. Or even offensive line help. You know what I'm saying? Can we, let's help Sam. Let's do it. But, okay, Morgan, I don't really, no knock it. You know what I'm saying? So going down to the next 4th round pick, and we pick up Cam Clark, baby. Cam Clark. Let me tell you something. I think he's a decent, tackle. He's a guy that can come in and give us some help. I know also there's a lot of analysts saying that maybe he'll slide into guard. Maybe that's something that we can do with him too, because there's still some questions on this offensive line. I know I love Mekhi Becton. I like that selection. I like Connor McGovern, but you look at the rest of this line and there's some suspect, moments there, particularly if you get to that right side. Winters, a lot of people have questions about him. Alex Lewis, I know who we brought back, but he was on that line last year. I saw him get used. And if we start Becton at left tackle, Fant at right tackle is just like, George Fant is, he is not, he's not a guy that I necessarily want starting, even though I know we're paying him kind of starter money. So bringing this kid in and just allowing him, to see, hey, where is he at? Is he a guy that can end up pushing to be a starter? Or is he a guy that we can bring along right now? Kind of having that depth role in case a guy goes down, he can step in and kind of fill a role there. I'd have no problem with that whatsoever. So this is a kid I think that is a solid little pick here. He's coming in, he's going to play. So next pick, round 5, we talk about Bryce Hall, baby. Ooh, this is a kid at corner that I'm like, this was a solid little pick. You know what I'm saying? This was a solid little pick. I like him. Here's the problem with him. Injury issues. It's injury issues every time, it's injury issues. I know he's had issues with his ankle. I think he had surgery Um, but you know, before that, dude, he was looking decent. He was looking like a guy that could really ascend up that board. But I think a lot of these injury issues kind of knocked him down. So you got to wonder, hey, is that ankle good? Is he going to be able to continue to play? You know, through that stuff. You know, can they bring him in and kind of work on that stuff? If he can stay good and healthy, and that ankle doesn't continue to be a problem, I think he's a guy, man, that could make some impact here as well. Particularly at our cornerback spot, which you know has some issues. We talked about it. You know, Pierre Desir, we got Poole. But that second spot is kind of open. Yeah, you got Bless Austin. I know you talk about Harrison, but it's not like set in stone. If this kid can come in and really have a solid impact, and I get it, he's a fifth rounder. Don't scream at me saying, "Oh, Joe, you're being way too positive." Look, you can come in and make some impact as a guy, especially on a spot that's open. So if he can stay good, and healthy, I think we're all right. And again, a lot of these guys that we drafted too are high character guys. I think that's really big as well. I know a lot of people kind of say, "Oh, well, who cares about that?" And we talk about the athleticism of these players and how fast they run and, their catching radius is and, what they do in their three-cone drills and, how great they block and all that stuff. But also being a high character guy is big as well because a lot of that in the games, especially in the NFL, your mental fortitude will be tested. There are going to be times where you're going to be down, in a football game and you got to fight to come back. If you're a guy that can do you're a great blocker, but you don't have it upstairs to push, when things are really crumbling around you, to be able to hold things up when things aren't going as well, to be able to sustain yourself and settle and then continue to fight in the trenches and to pull a game out, dude, it doesn't matter how great or gifted you are. You're just not going to make that impact that you should make in those crucial times. We've seen it throughout the NFL with guys that, are great players, but they just upstairs, they don't have it. And they never really live up to the hype or live up to where they're supposed to be because they can't get it together upstairs. So I like that as well. So again, we're going to move down. We're going to talk about round 6 because that's a selection with Braden Mann. I like this selection. I know a lot of people are looking at it like, hey, he's a punter. Who cares? Like, that matters a lot, okay? There's a lot of hidden yards in special teams, all right? And with Lackland Edwards right now being a free agent, we needed a guy to fill that hole. Here's a guy that won the Ray Guy Award. He steps in. I think he could be a guy that could really put on, some solid punts here. Special teams is big. It's really, really big. We've seen in the past where we've had really bad special teams play, particularly at punter, and it's cost us a lot of games. So I like this selection as well. And as a whole, with this all being done, I like the draft by Joe Douglas. I think he did a solid job. Again, I wanted more wide receiver. I know they're probably going to attack that market in the undrafted free agency market, but if that's pretty much the only knock I really have on this draft was, hey, could we have taken maybe 1 or 2 more wide receivers? I would wanted to see more, but I think that this is a solid draft. And I also love the trades that he made. He got value, and he was able to turn that value, into players that can come and help at different spots. He didn't get fleeced in his trade downs. He didn't get used and abused. He said, okay, boom, I understand I have some needs. Let me move down, gain some solid capital, and then turn that into a player that can really help me in this spot. So, again, for me, the only head scratcher was Morgan, and it's because he's in the 4th round. I wanted more wide receiver, but I really think that this was a solid draft. So comment down below. I know this is a long video. I had to give it to you folks. I wanted to talk to you. Let me know what you folks think. Comment down below. Let me get your thoughts on each pick. How do you feel about Ashtyn Davis? Where do you think that he fits into the defense? What are your thoughts about Mims? How do you feel about Jabari being drafted in the 3rd round? Do you think you can stay healthy, give us some edge rush? What about Braden Mann? Do you like his selection as well? Bryce Hall out there, do you think he can make some significant impact at corner? Where do you think he'll fit? Where do you think his role will be? I want to hear from you folks, man. I really want to hear from you. So you folks have a good one. Peace.